Welcome back, everybody. Luna is absolutely ripping today. We're going to cover why that is, some recent drama between the Binance CEO and Kwon and the recent news there, and then we are going to dive into some chart analysis and price predictions for Luna. So let's jump right in. So first of all, you can see it's been quite a 24-hour turnaround for Luna. We've been moving to the upside pretty significantly, and a lot of this is due to the fact that people have seen the RSI so low. It's gotten to such a low point that people can pick up hundreds of thousands of Luna coins for pennies on the dollar. So we're starting to see, just essentially opportunists saying, hey, it's so low at this point, what do I have to lose? And now we're seeing it kind of pick back up, and we'll get into some chart analysis here in a minute. But first of all, Kwon did put out late last night another update, really just expressing, his issues and expressing how he feels about what happened. Obviously, he's saying he's sorry. I think a lot of people are saying, hey, sorry doesn't bring back my 100K or my 10K, whatever you guys had in there. But he said they're working on it. He said that they haven't profited from it, or any institutions that are related to Luna have profited from it. Whether you believe that, you kind of need to take his word on it. But at the same time, up until this point, he has been pretty transparent, but, it has been a little bit discouraging to see the way that he's changed a bit, right? I mean, he kind of went dark for, almost an entire day when this happened, and just kind of said he was working on things. It's really, really clear based on these comments that people don't buy it. And, I don't know if I buy it either. And, it's really sad to just see this kind of fall in real time. But the real news here is that the Binance CEO, and this is just, I believe, just yesterday, late yesterday, he essentially posted a whole thread calling out Luna, calling out its management, calling out the integrity of the actual ecosystem. And for those of you who don't know, CZ, the CEO of Binance, is one of the most well-respected leaders in the crypto space. So this does have weight. He knows what he's talking about. And so I just highlighted kind of some of the key points of this thread. It's quite a long thread, but I think these are kind of some of the key points that we should be diving into. So this was actually the real reason why Binance delisted Luna. So here's what he was saying. So this actually affected users. He's saying some of our users, unaware of the large amounts of newly minted Luna outside the exchange, started to buy Luna again without understanding that as soon as deposits are allowed, the price will likely crash further. So essentially, anyone buying Luna off of Binance immediately was absorbing downside risk without being provided the information necessary to actually call that out for themselves. So he's saying, that's almost an irresponsible communication from Luna, from Kwon, that actually caused a ton of people, thousands of people, to lose a lot of money. So here he's essentially calling out the communication of the team. He's calling out the integrity of the team. And he prefaces this next tweet by saying he usually doesn't call people out, but then again, this is big time. He says, I'm very disappointed with how this UST Luna incident was handled or not handled by the Terra team. And he said that they requested their team to restore the network, burn the extra minted Luna, and recover the UST peg. But so far, they have not gotten any positive response or much response at all. Now, this is late last night. I don't know if they've gone back and forth since then. It's possible that the plan had been released after this came out, and we're going to get into CZ's reaction to the Terra Luna plan that we covered yesterday in the video. But just to see him essentially call out the third largest stablecoin, the third largest stablecoin founder, and say, hey, this was not legit. The way that they handled this was not legitimate. This is big time for CZ to call this out. He's typically a pretty quiet, humble guy. He doesn't really call out other people. For him to step up, I think he sees it as a legitimate threat to the integrity of crypto, to the integrity of other ecosystems, other protocols, and also trying to just defend investors' best interests, right? I think it's really, really cool to see him stepping out of the box here. And it's starting to get picked up by major news outlets as well, and other crypto websites, and basically saying, CZ basically came out and said, hey, Axie Infinity handled this way better than Terra. Terra really disappointed in the fact of what I thought it was and what it turned out to be. So again, this is just really interesting to see him coming out to the forefront. I've never seen him do this before. I've been following him for a couple of years. And it's just really, really interesting to see him attacking Kwon and Terra. He clearly sees an issue here. And this is almost somewhat very, very subtle. He's almost accusing Do Kwon and Terra of stealing. And now I'm not saying that this is what he's saying. It just really sounds like that. And I've highlighted the portion of this tweet that alludes to that. But this is his official response to the action plan that we covered yesterday. So he said this is just his personal opinion, but it won't work because forking does not give the new fork any value, but that's wishful thinking. One cannot void all contracts after an old snapshot, both on-chain and off-chain exchanges. And the last thing he ends it on is, where is all the BTC that was supposed to be used as reserves? Now, you guys were actually asking me this in the comments of my last video too, and I was kind of like shrugging my shoulders saying, hey, Do Kwon should probably update us on this, right? And it's just really, really interesting for him to be saying, hey, like this is almost, in terms of the quality project, this is almost a shady scam that it's turning into, right? And so he's kind of sick of it. He's saying, this plan is basically Fugazi, it's fake, it's not going to work. So he's essentially calling Luna done. And he's saying this is what he would have done instead of the plan that they released. So he's saying reducing supply should be done via burn, not fork at an old date, and abandon everyone who tried to rescue the coin. And this is exactly, I think this is probably the most popular comment I got on the last video, was that people were literally stuck trying to, basically catch the falling knife that was Luna, that was the chart, trying to basically place buys as it was falling. And essentially you guys are the ones trying to rescue the coin if you're buying it in free fall, hoping for a bounce. And essentially you guys called this out too. That plan that we covered yesterday, it did not take into account any of the people that were buying it on the downswing before that depeg. After the depeg, right? It only was rewarding people before the depegging and then before that chain halt, right? So I think he, CZ's clearly disgusted. He's posted at this point 10 to 20 tweets on this. I've kind of highlighted and cherry picked the most important ones for you guys, but this is big time because I don't believe that the Terra Luna brand can make it back. Can you toss a couple bucks in here and maybe make something back on a gamble? Absolutely. But at the same time, this is crazy bad for the Luna brand, and it's kind of sad to see. But we're going to finish off here with some chart analysis. Obviously, no video is finalized without a good little chart peek. So let's take a look at this. First of all, I have never, ever seen, and kudos to all you guys that were watching the chart, but I have never seen an RSI this low in my entire life. So the RSI, just to give you a little bit of a background, the RSI, right, tells you whether, something is overbought or oversold. This is oversold, this is overbought. Typically, you don't want to be, touching something that's overbought. It's likely going to fall relatively quickly after that. But 9 times out of 10, you see assets literally just trending up and down within these brackets between the 30 and 70 mark. And what we've seen with Luna is almost the exact opposite. We've seen it trend under 30. So it's been oversold for, 5 days, essentially, a little bit less than 5 days. And it's been incredible to see people, opportunists basically saying, hey, this thing is so low, so oversold, it can't get much worse. And those people were right. I mean, we've had a insane rally the last few days. We're talking almost 10,000%, over 10,000% at its highest point. So it is just crazy to see, what's going on with Terra Luna right now. But we're going to look at some key levels here just for you guys who are involved, who are maybe looking at tossing a gamble in here. I will say, I'm going to preface this. I don't think Terra Luna has a ton of hope right now long term, but there is such little downside risk that I understand why people are kind of giving it a go and tossing some funds in. So I want to help you guys out here with some chart analysis. Let's dive into a couple key levels. So first of all, what kind of led to this, extreme kind of pump here, right? Because we were slowly climbing up, and then we had this crazy little pump just earlier today, and we were able to break this previous resistance, right? We had this kind of resistance level here. We break it right here. And then you can see these green candles all much larger than the previous two. And once we break that support, we go into overdrive up to this high. We get rejected here. And now we're kind of slowly inching back up. And what you can see is that we actually, from a longer term perspective, we flipped this resistance into support here. And you see that bounce. And then you see once we lock in and confirm that that has flipped, you see some movement to the upside and then movement to the upside again. But the real question is, you know, how long does this last? Where could it be headed next? Obviously, fundamentally, you know, Luna is pretty much shot, but you know, there is still buying pressure, which is cool to see. So what I'll do is I'll draw a Fibonacci extension to give us somewhat of an idea of what some of the next key levels could be, so you guys can kind of keep an eye out here. So what's happening right now is we essentially bounced off of the 236 fib twice already. So we did it here, I did it here, and then we tried to stand on top of the 382 fib to then run to that all-time high again. We tried here, we did not, we fell back down below it. So right now, the key support that we have to maintain is this 236 fib. That is 0003, and I apologize, I'm not great at math, to be honest, so reading these cent numbers are going to be a little difficult. So I'm just going to say the number is zeros in the number. So 0003 is kind of where that 236 fib is. That's our, you know, support right now. Looking at it from a longer term perspective, we would need to bounce off of this to then get another shot at the 382 fib, which is 0004. Then if we stand on top of this, we need to look to 0005. And that was kind of, you know, essentially a double resistance here. We kind of got shot down twice. So, you know, you could even make the case that that's a double top and we can maybe, you know, come back here and go down. So there's always a bearish case there. But at the same time, for those kind of looking to the upside, past that resistance here. So again, this 618 at 0006 is kind of this major resistance. So we're playing, you know, with a solid percentage from that most recent high, right? I can't say all-time high because that was a while back now for Luna. But that's kind of where we're playing right now. It looks like we're getting, you know, a green candle here forming. We'll see what happens. But above that, we're looking at 007 and 008 for that 786 fib and the 1 fib. So hopefully, if we break through this resistance, we're going to be playing in this area. Now, I don't really know what's going to happen because you guys need to keep in mind, there were people loading up on Luna, you know, back here, right? So they're gonna be taking some profits at some point. We saw that here, and then we saw some sell off here. But people who are purchasing all the way back here, you know, I don't know if it could make a run enough here to sustain the buy pressure with all these people, you know, back here looking to take profits, right? Because this is kind of a, you know, last one to get out gets screwed kind of thing, right? So people are watching this carefully, and you know, you just don't want to be the last one hanging on to the bag. So definitely a very, very risky play, but just want to give you guys the chart outlook if you are looking to get involved. But that about does it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.